Looking to play more cEDH? Tough Mulligans offers free tournaments every month with prize support. Play quality tournaments from the comfort of your own home at no cost. The best part? The top 16 players of each event will get free entry into the next month's league over at Critical EDH. Join us for quality games and good people. Tough Mulligans. Learn, play, win, repeat.
This episode of Keeping Tabs is sponsored by Doot Loot, your go-to vendor for non-English foils, signed and altered cards, reserve list staples, judge promos, and secret lairs. Doot Loot has cards for every budget, starting in just $5. It's a simple, no-nonsense card feed updated weekly, with monthly giveaways and free tokens every order. Join the over 4,500 members on Discord and follow on Instagram at DootLootIG.
Welcome to Critical EDH, where we fear not the man who has kicked one subscription button 10,000 times, but 10,000 people who have kicked the button once.
That's pretty good.
That is pretty good.
Dude, I'm so excited that we hit 10,000 subs. It's like so
surreal.
awesome.
Yeah.
I don't really know how to describe it.
I don't either. I think Jordan and I have both had content creation ventures before this, and I don't think either of them, or even combined, they were as successful as this one is.
No.
So it's pretty cool.
It's a very one of my favorite things that's been happening more and more is like people will just join my like league chats as I'm like playing a game or whatever, and they'll just ask me random questions.
Yeah.
They're just like, "Hey Jordan, can you help with this thing really quick?" I'm sure, I guess. But I actually love that. I don't know. I love participating with. There's been a lot of people, new people that are like, yeah, I watch all your guys' stuff. This is actually my first game in the league, and it's really cool that we get to play it together. And I'm like,
yeah,
hell yeah, it is, dude. That's so sick.
Yeah.
We've been
it's very surreal that there's 10,000 people that like to listen to what we say.
Yeah, and I mean we've been pushing really hard on like putting out a lot of new content lately. I know that like. I don't know. It feels bad to me, but like I put out a coaching session, and I had a really great time doing it. It was awesome. Also, getting coaching requests after that and like having to turn people down is not great because I was like my time is very, very thin, and I was like, hey, I'm sorry, like you don't have a context for this, but I actually scheduled that coaching session within 5 minutes of me recording it. So like, I can't always do that, but.
Dude, also, we need to talk about how you lured Fiesta away from the chowder and into the darkness.
He told me, dude. Yeah. Speaking of like content and stuff, I did want to show like we just have like oh, that's what she said. That's what he said.
Hey, while you're trying to find it, I just want to say that I thought, Fiesta, that you told me that Jordans stay together, and we don't seem to be together anymore on this, pal. So that's very sad.
Down with farm, dude. Down.
Farm stonks are up, dude.
Farm stonks are still up.
I forget what video it was. Oh, I think it was after last week's recording. Emily and Logan popped into the chat, and Emily in the background was like, Austin, when are you going to start playing farm? I'm like,
I didn't prompt her. I didn't say anything. She did that on her own.
I know.
Yeah. Maybe next season.
I felt so vindicated because then I top forward both locals and won one of them. So I was like,
bro,
fuck farm.
I still can't believe I lost that game to you on Saturday by one treasure.
Yeah, I can't believe that they didn't know what was happening when I was resolving my stuff.
Golly.
I know.
Well, anyway, what I wanted to bring up was, we've got like our normal keeping tabs we do every week. We try to do it on time. Thanks for everyone that watched this one, even though we released it late. It seems like it performed right about where we expected it to, so that's totally fine. But Jordan's got part 2 of Jundargo out now, and that was awesome. I've got a coaching session out. Jason's Necro video, man, that...
Shocker.
Yep.
Shocker.
If you
like hype it up for months, it felt like, and then it drops and everyone's like, oh my god, this is actually the video you guys were hyping up.
If you want to learn something, watch the video. If you want to learn something again, watch the video again.
Yep. You know what's crazy is like I feel like I'm somewhat comfortable with Necro, and I still was like, wait, you can swat one of the Necro triggers?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
What the fuck do you mean?
Yeah. And then one thing I was like kind of happy about is this video. I wanted to start talking about other things that we experienced at tournaments. Like, I don't think there's a lot of people talking about like card sleeves and stuff, which is kind of weird. And
Mhm.
and like it's not the most interesting or glamorous thing, right? But it's something we all have to deal with one way or another. We're not going to riffle shuffle, our decks. I mean,
Yeah.
some of us do, but whatever. We're not. This is not the video for you. But I don't know. Just like people ask me all the time, like, what sleeves do you use? What? And like Eli was borrowing Shorkai, and he's like, dude, the sleeve setup's sick. Like, what is it? I'm like, this is what it is.
Yeah,
It's crazy that like they're so different. Like they're so different.
What do you mean?
Like it's crazy to me that like the sleeve setup for people, like it's just like everyone has their own preference to them, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like the differences between like the company's sleeves are so drastic, and like you just don't ever think about it until you get bad ones and you're like, oh, I never want to use these again.
Dude,
Yeah.
I was so excited about the dragon scale art sleeves from the like Tarkir art sleeves, and I ripped 3 in like a week.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Yeah,
I
dude,
thought they
I
were
like-
like unusable.
I have never had good art sleeves. Like I've had like bad quality ones like when I first started playing Magic, and I was like, I will just never use these again.
What people
I've
don't
heard they've gotten
understand
better, but like I
about
still just
dragon
know.
is that there's different dragon shields for every single type. There's Dragon Shield Matte. There's Dragon Shield Classic. There's Dragon Shield Dual Matte, which are different. There's Dragon Shield Art, which are the white ones with the printed art on the back, right? And then there's Dragon Shield Dual Matte Art, which are the ones that Jordan was just talking about. And they're all different. Like
Yeah.
there's properties that they share that are the same, but if you actually inspect them and start using them and become like very, very familiar with them, they're all very, very different. They might as well be from different brands.
It's crazy.
So
Yeah.
it's,
I'm
it's
excited
tough.
I just got a new pack of the Sentry sleeves.
Oh
Yeah, I
yeah,
want to get
the
some more of
local
those. Those are our Colorado local sleeves.
Yeah, which apparently they don't even have a website out yet. But they're like out of stock. Like they've sold so much to level 7 because the quality is high.
Yeah.
That I'm really excited for the future of them. Like I think that like it's also just cool that it's Colorado local, right?
Yeah. Well, anyway, that's enough of boring stuff for now. Yeah, we just want to just say, thank you to everyone for helping us get to 10,000. It came way faster than we thought it would.
Yep.
What, 53 weeks? We couldn't quite do it in a year. Damn, we'll try again next time, I guess. But
Damn.
yeah, it's just, I managed to get the screenshot right at 10K, which was not easy, by the way. That number's moving
Dude,
quick.
in the crit chat, the countdown for per sub, we were like, oh.
And then we've got a giveaway going on. It's kind of hard to see all the details here, but basically we're giving away 5 different things. Some are doubles, but you can win this Chinese Smothering Tithe, which is absolutely sick.
It is.
Yeah,
Cool.
mine's right in front of me. I'll just pull it up.
You can win a $100 Doot Loot credit, which is, you could get a equally good or better Smothering Tithe if you want. Lifetime League access, we're giving 2 passes away, and then also a critical EDH playmat. We're choosing different winners for each one.
When does this end?
This ends at the end of the month, so it's going to go on for a little while. We would make sure that everyone gets in that can enter.
This thing, I don't know if it's gonna like focus
Oh,
on
yeah, I
it, but
see it.
it's so sick, dude.
That's the copy of Smothering Tide that I use, but I think it's maybe mine's English, but it's signed. I brought it from the local that was like getting out of Magic. I forget what his name is.
Yeah, I want to get it signed too.
Yeah.
But this is what the giveaway looks like. We'll have the link in the description of this video. There's a lot of different ways you can enter. There's ways you can double up and add more entries. And this is the first time we're trying this, but I've seen other companies do it and other people outside of Magic do it. But I'm like, hey, it's kind of a good way to like get you to kind of engage with what we're doing, but also like there's a sneaky go check out Doot Loot's Instagram on here. Stuff like that. So if you want to enter, that's how to do it.
It's such a surreal thing to like, I don't know if this was true for you, Logan, like past content things, but every video I put out, it was like just a fart in the wind of a hope that like maybe 100 people watch it or something. Like maybe it gets picked up by the algorithm and the gods deem it worthy. And to now be in the place where like every single day that video is gonna, like every single new video we release is gonna hit multiple thousand views. Every single time week goes by, we're getting multiple hundred subscribers. Like it's a very surreal thing to experience, and I'm really, really grateful for it.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like sometimes I would have videos that I put out and I'm like, wow, this was really interesting to me, but apparently like no one else. And then I would have videos where like I would put out something and it would be just like a nothing video and it'd get like 30,000 views. And I'm like, what? Like, I just don't understand. And maybe I'm not connecting, but I do feel like on some level we're connecting with our audience here. We're growing it very naturally and organically, but even on like our bad performing videos, like the one we were just talking about with like sleeves and stuff, like it's not interesting, it's not glamorous, no one really cares, and that still did like 2,000 views in 2 days, which is right on track with all of our other videos. I mean, we have like a really dedicated audience. We are trying to connect and do things for the audience that like they care about, so hopefully we can keep doing that.
On Saturday, I'm sure this is not the first time it's the first time it's happened to me. It's definitely not going to be the last time. Someone was new at locals and playing our game, and they had gotten a coaching session from Evan, and so they were like fairly well equipped, but they never played in a tournament before, so it was like very in the deep water. And so we get through that game, and at the end I'm like, yeah, I'm here, Austin's here, Jason's here, and we run this YouTube channel if you ever want to check it out. He's like, oh, bro, like I know who you are. I'm like,
you're like, oh,
okay,
my bad.
shit. And I don't know, but that's like actually just a really cool thing to even watch our locals change. Like there's new people every week, and there's more than one of them is from just discovering us, and that's really exciting.
Dude, there's a few folks from Greeley that made it down to
that's
Saturday.
who this guy was, one of the Greeley folks.
Yeah, I think that's so cool.
That is so cool. And that is not close, by the way.
No, but then I was like, hey, you should just connect with Josh because like carpool down.
And it was so funny because in that game, the pregame conversation, he's like, yeah, I'm like, it's my first tournament, but I've had coaching with Freedom. And I think it's on turn 3 or turn 4, he's going to copy his Ristic for the 3rd time. I'm like, you certainly have had coaching with Evan.
Yep.
That is how this game's going to go. Okay.
Yep. We've got actually, before we do anything else, a little bit more self-promo. We have a few playmats left of our original Series 1 that we want to clear out of stock. Right now we have 4 available. By the time you see this, there might be 3. They are going very fast, and these are the last time this will ever be printed, and we'll refresh playmats and do something new for our 2nd year of existing. And then we've got a few Mortal Kombat playmats. I think we've got like 5 of these available as well.
Dude,
if you're interested
Demetrius
in
bought one? Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, this is actually really cool. The pictures do not do this thing justice of like how much it pops. Is very, very cool.
I still have my staff mat. Dude, the staff mat is so sick. Hold on.
Well, you can't show it off because they're gonna be like, well, that one's way cooler.
It's gonna happen. Look at this thing, dude. Look at this fuzzy bitch. Look.
We should bring those out for next locals and just
rock
like all those.
I really like those mats.
But anyway, we're committed to making another banger playmat, but we need to clear out these before we do that. If you want to snag any of these while they're still left, we're selling them same cost as normal. You can just go to AdNaz and make a comment, and I'll DM you all the info you need for this.
Also, just like a personal thing, if you guys ever get a chance to hang out in Tim's stream while he's drawing mats, it's a blast. I did it for the combat mat, and it's so much fun to hang out and like just kind of shoot the shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you guys get a chance, please do it. It's a blast.
Dude, all the like AP tokens Tim has been doing on stream the last week or 2 are fucking crazy.
Oh yeah,
they're so cool. Definitely recommend people checking those out.
Did you guys see that?
No.
That's funny.
I need it.
Dude, what's Plagon doing on that token, dude?
Well, first of all, people are getting these. I snagged one of these at Breach to Bay, and I'm just so happy with it.
Yeah, the short guy mat is really, really cool.
He didn't post any more of this yet, but I have a picture of the whole thing.
A second untapper has hit the back.
Oh, I didn't even see that. That's insane.
So funny. That's really
sorry,
cool.
Logan. What were you saying?
I really like the color.
Yeah.
We were talking about the colors, and I was like, you got to make it like something. I don't know if you can see the whole thing, but
dude,
that's gas.
I need that now.
But anyway, I mean, he just keeps coming out with banger after banger. So we're looking forward to the next mat he makes for us, whatever that may be, and whatever it looks like.
Wait, is this mat a Helga mat, dude?
I don't think so.
Damn,
it's just a cradle mat, I think.
Oh, okay, so it can work as Helga mat.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. that was enough about us and things we have going on. You guys want to talk about Just Jam D-Grid?
Just Jam Grid is happening May 30th. It's down in Arizona. They are partners with our league for this month. So if you get the top point total in the Swiss rounds of our league in like the table, then you'll get free access to this event. But yeah, I think it's run by some really cool guys. I think it's Jesse. I'm so bad with names.
That sounds
Jesse
right, yeah.
is the guy that's TOing it, and the guy couldn't be nicer. So I just like try to go support southwestern CEDH essentially, because I know a lot of the San Diego and LA guys and girls are going to be going down there and competing. So, but Logan, you had like firsthand experience with the event, so or not this event, but with.
If you haven't heard me say it, it's got the sickest bathrooms.
Yeah. Dude, I'm surprised
I'll
it's not a
stand by it,
tagline
dude.
on their event page.
Yeah, we have the best bathrooms.
Yeah, I mean that said, the venue's awesome. Gamers Guild AZ is a really good game store. They have all kinds of cool stuff happening there, not just Magic. They have a on-site restaurant and bar, so you can get drinks to your table, you can get food. It's just a great space to hang out and like, you know, that like feeling when you're at like a tournament and maybe you're at like a hotel or something and you're kind of like, okay, I'm just like, I'm not home. I'm like tired of not being home and like I'm definitely like out of the house. I'm being like put out. Didn't feel like that at all at this tournament. I mean, I thought I was like, oh, I'm just out, but I'm like having a good time and like I'm well fed and, you know, having drinks and stuff like that. It was awesome.
Yeah, this one, I know I'm like 99% sure Eric's going to this one. I know the rest of us have talked about it. I might try to go if I'm back in time, but I do know that this is also partnered with Land Go. So for anyone who's going to be at the Boyle next month or any of the like preceding events for that, I think there's like some connection to entry via Land Go placing or something or other like that too.
So they're giving entry to this tournament if you win Land Go.
Got it.
The Boyle.
Cool. Sick. Yeah, we were talking, and I think we're about to look at it, but we were talking about before the show, like the calendar of events that we may or may not go to, but at least are like on our radar, just gets more and more absurd.
We'll do a quick overview of the calendar right after we do the next sponsored one, I think, or the next two sponsored ones.
Yeah, we've got this one coming up. It's the same folks who did Sinkhole 1 and 2 from New Jersey CDH. Last episode, when we talked about this, we got to uncover more Jordan lore, where I chased down Bruce Springsteen on Atlantic City Boardwalk.
Wait, I didn't hear about this. What?
Yeah, I went to middle school in New Jersey, and we saw Springsteen on the beach in Atlantic City and tried to track him down to get a photo because it was back in like when you would send photos to People magazine and get like paid for catching celebrities in the wild or whatever. So we're like trying to get a photo of Springsteen on the beach, but that's not relevant to the fact that you can have a great time where even if you crash out, you can go gamble your life savings away. So that's a good time.
So I like the trend of tournaments at restaurants, and I like tournaments at Dave & Buster's. Yeah. Also, tournaments at casinos is right up there with those things. Like it's a cool experience because you get to do the food and drink and all that stuff, and then you have like, you know, you can just go gamble if you feel like it.
It's also at a like broader TCG show, so I think if you're into like Pokemon or Riftbound or any of the other like very competitive card games, or you just are a collector, you're gonna have an opportunity here.
Dude, that means like the vendors there are gonna be so sick.
Yeah.
It's weird because like Magic is kind of the pariah of like the TCG space, and like it doesn't generally trade well. But like I've gone to like some TCG shows around Denver, and there's Magic stuff if you look hard, and there's some good vendors if you know what you're looking for, and then usually that's like you get insane deals. Like so maybe that's the case here. Can't guarantee anything, but what I can say is the last two events I think sold out for them, and I presume this one will as well. If you're interested or you're in the area going to this type of event, definitely sign up.
Sick.
We are going to start advertising and talking about the Siege a ton because this is an event we're helping put on with MTG Basics and Level 7. This is going to be a massive event. Denver's and Colorado's biggest event so far. June 13th and 14th of this year. It's a cEDH 10K. 10K really doesn't even begin to describe all the stuff that's going to be happening at this event. There's all kinds of raffles and door prizes and all kinds of different stuff.
Oh, yeah.
If you want to sign up early, you get $85 for your entry fee instead of $100. So it's just $15 off. You get a sticker and 5 raffle tickets. The sticker would be unique for the event. I think that's a gold Sabertooth sticker, but I'm not sure. And then it's a 2-day event. We're doing top 40 on day 2. So all Swiss rounds are done on day 1. That means you know exactly where you land going into day 2. You don't have to have that stress of like, man, I really need to win my 6th or 7th round or whatever it is on day 2, and then miss my redemption event if I don't win those. You don't have to worry about any of that. You know exactly where you are at the end of day 1. If you make it to top 40, guess what? You're playing in top 40. If you don't, we'll have an excellent redemption event for you on day 2.
I will say, just like a personal thing again, like top 40 is just how events should be. For like if you
For
get
big
to like
events.
200 players, like top 40 is just correct. It felt good at Royal Rumble, and I think it will just continually feel good at these very large events.
I don't know that I've played in a top 40 yet, personally.
I don't think there has been very many of them.
Yeah.
No.
It's been a little bit more popular in Europe, I think, right?
Yeah. Like logistically, it just makes so much sense though.
Day 1, they're raffling a Gaia's Cradle. That shit is like $1,200 now.
Yeah, it's crazy how much more expensive this card is now.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, every day we stray further and further away from Jordan having a foil Gaia's Cradle.
How much are the judges now?
Dude, they're like 2,500 or something. It's
Oh, boy.
crazy. Also, I love how it's like LobbyCon this is just going to be a gold event, bro. It's not going to be a
Oh
LobbyCon.
yeah, 100%.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's just other stuff going on. We're trying to plan out and have good structure. We want people to fly into this event or fly, or just travel in however you can. But we also want it to be like, there's stuff for you to do. I don't like I show up to an event and then I'm kind of like, well, I don't know where LobbyCon is. I don't know where people are hanging out. Half the people are hanging out at this hotel and the other half are at Denny's or whatever. Like, no, we're taking care of you.
Yeah. I will also say, like, so this location is a little bit north of Denver. It's not too bad at all. But if you do stay in Denver, then there is like a train that goes straight, not to this venue, but like relatively close to it.
Yeah.
So you're only like a mile away. So, like, obviously a mile is like kind of awful for some people, but
Look, I'm sure there will be people with cars. You can have them come pick you up and we will bring you to the event.
It's like very close to the event center. So
yeah,
we easily have the ability of like locals to pack a gold, I think, at this point. If we actually got everyone to show up. So you will have local people who can shepherd you where you need to go.
Yep.
Yeah. The Chad bot asked in our content chat, sort of asking, he's like, how easy is it to camp in Colorado and also get to an event? It's
oh my God.
It's extraordinarily easy.
Yeah.
It depends on how far out into camp, like where you want to be camping. But especially in the summer, you're looking at like an hour, 2 hours max if you want to get like really, really good camping. And if you just want to do like, car shenanigans or whatever, anywhere you want.
This is prime vacation time. Denver is an awesome place to visit this time of year.
Absolutely.
Yes, it's in the middle of the summer and it might be hot, but you know what? It's dry heat. Like it's really not that bad. If you're in the shade, it's totally tolerable.
Let's just really hope the AC isn't broken on this event.
We only say that because at our event last year at Dave & Buster's, the AC was broken. It was 100 degrees outside. It was 85 degrees inside.
It was rough.
There's no indication that the AC will be broken at this event. We're just personally crossing our fingers for this one. Yeah. All right. Let's move on to the calendar. If you guys like this, let us know. This is our personal calendar of like events that are on our radar. We can't cover all events, but these are ones that are like either coming up for us or things that we are advertising for or we're just aware of. So today is the 11th when we're recording on Wednesday. This will come out on Thursday the 12th. Nothing this weekend. We have our locals this weekend. Next weekend, we have the Level 7 Invitational. There's also the FOCO Fight Club 4, I believe, on this day, which is unfortunate for me.
I think the FOCO Fight Club is 28th, actually.
Did they move it?
Let me look, but I
think it's the 21st.
Sure.
Atlantic City TCG show is the 22nd. That's the one we just talked about. Mid-season showdown for Top Deck is the 28th. So that's in Houston. I think the invites for that go out next week or this weekend. So if you are going to that, you'll know about it. If you're not, then you won't. Next month, March, that kind of rolls into, or the midseason rolls into March. And then the 28th of March, we have the Boil 3. Is March another like perfect month? Sunday starts on the 1st. Oh, wow. The Boil 3 is in Louisiana.
Yeah, which, by the way, I'm going to the Boil 3. I
Oh,
booked
sick.
tickets yesterday.
Nice.
I'm fairly confident, and I know I keep giving Austin non-answers, but I'm fairly confident it's happening. I just can't
Okay.
quite.
Good luck trying to get flights because we had to buy like one-way tickets both ways,
Sick.
and it was like $100 cheaper than buying them round trip, which makes
Sure.
no fucking sense. But yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
I was
think-
really hoping Jason was going to the Boil with us so we could go out to Bourbon Street on Sunday night.
Jason would, I think, have an aneurysm. though. He doesn't know his sweet summer child.
It would be so fun though.
It
All right,
would be.
let me get the calendar done. April, we are fairly open, which is fantastic because we have a very interesting month in the month of May. May, as you can see, starts with Magic on Vegas. That's the 1st through 3rd. The 15th, we have the Tap for Hope 10K in Portland. We are really, really looking forward to that event. Hopefully we can see a lot of different people there that we haven't seen before. That's an area of the country I don't think we've ever traveled to for an event yet.
Yeah, no, not at all.
And then the 30th, that is just Jam D-Grid in Phoenix.
Yeah, and this is
Which
all
is
just the stuff that like we're very privy to.
Yeah.
With the way the scene is right now, I guarantee you there is something every weekend, or at least close to it.
All right, that's our quick little calendar overview. If you like that, we'll probably just kind of blast through it every week and then try to keep everyone updated with what's going on. Okay, quick league updates. February League is in full swing. We've got a week and a half in so far, and I think we have like 490 people signed up.
Yeah, I
which
think
is-
it's close to 500.
it's insane. It's really, really good.
By the 11th, we are. That's crazy.
Yeah, so hopefully we can hit that 500 number, maybe 600 this month. If we do, I'll definitely throw in some more prizing into the prize pool. And we wanted to go quickly over the bracket and see where the standings are.
Bro, I wish we were doing this segment before I lost 3 games today.
Just win 3 games tomorrow. It's fine.
I know, it's fine.
Wait, is that Tim at 10th playing Winota?
Yeah.
Don't give it up, dude. Yeah, he's playing Winota.
Oh God.
He has a good win rate too. He's doing well.
Yeah.
We've got Charles in first at 2,200 points, 54% win rate over 24 games. That's really, really awesome.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then some other notables. I don't know everyone on this list. Sorry if I'm not mentioning you. Zach Adler at 5th. VT Robo Guy at 6th. That's one of our Atali players and good friend of the channel. Austin Loudon, Denver local at 7th.
Dude, I really wish Austin got to play more locally. Like, I really like playing with him.
I
but
do
he
too.
Just like is so busy at all times.
Which is why he plays in the league, which is
Yeah,
awesome.
exactly.
Like, yeah. Hires in 9th. I think he's still playing Kinnan. Tim's in 10th. Church is in 11th.
Yep. Church cooked me last night.
And Matt Hayes, the Matt Hayes, is in 15th.
Dude, the Matt Hayes.
So if you want to come compete against all these players, this is the place to do it.
Yeah, the league, Nameless actually tweeted about this too. But this is his first month back in the league, and in a couple of months he took a little bit off, and he was like, "Bro, I don't know like what happened, but the quality of play is just really high, and I think it's just everyone kind of getting trialed by fired by this caliber of player month over month over month over month is like just it's helping a lot, I think."
There's no question that we're going to see evolution of players and different people rise through the ranks, and it's exactly what we wanted. We wanted people to learn and build and develop as players. I think that there's also a little bit of pressure coming from the fact that we actually are officially we have points for the circuit, which I just brought up. The critical EDH circuit 1, I didn't really know what else to call it, but it is the circuit. Is a entire year of league events. Right now we've got 11 events so far, and this will run until May. You can look at the point structure here. We haven't figured out all the pricing. We're working hard on doing that. But you can see the leaderboard. Jace is number 1, Matt Hayes, Dexter, Shaka. I don't know who Mark Cigarric is. Do you guys know?
Mark is one of my favorite people to play with in the league. He's
agreed.
awesome.
Oh, okay.
Just
What
like
does he play?
really, really great. He plays Rogsai, TNK, and Sisei.
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
I think he just plays a lot of decks too. Like
Yeah.
he just has an assortment of stuff.
Nice. Max P, Notorious, Tilly, Jason, Ryan Perez. Man, Ryan's always doing well in these events.
Dude, Perez is doing really well.
Wiley, Nick H, Hire. I mean, these are all big names competing in the league and in the circuit now. We've got 971 players over 11 events. I think January's event hasn't quite finished yet, so the points and stuff from this one have not finished. But as soon as it does, that'll update the leaderboard.
Yep.
And then we will have probably like a top 40 invitational. I think kind of feels right, something like that, for the circuit. So that's where that's at, and then we can move on to
Wait,
more
dude,
interesting.
that means Jace doesn't have to play his top 40 game, which like he won't show up for it anyways. So
Oh God. We wanted to talk about the like top 16 of the Dallas 10K.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know when it's going to be out, but Max and I just recorded today talking about this tournament and like TNT in general. And it sounds like it was an incredible event. Like there's definitely some interesting stuff to talk about with the like win and seat rate being available now in EDH top 16, but the top 16 was interesting. The quality of play sounds like it was really high. And I know, somehow Evan won a tournament, which is like weird. That doesn't
Somehow,
happen.
yeah.
somehow,
Never happens.
dude, I saw the third Ristic study get put into play in the finals and the semifinals with Evan, and you're just like, it's over, guys.
Yeah.
Like, you scoop it up, dude.
Yeah, I think Max was even saying, he's like, oh yeah, we're dead. We're dead.
Dude,
Well, I
I
guess-
think I wanted to shout out. There was one game, I forget if it was the semifinal or the final. I think it was the semifinal. That Evan had enduranced his debt or his graveyard, and there was like a pretty significant push like under or like with a voice of victory with Cavern of Souls, and no one had anything for it. And Evan's like, this might be dangerous, but it's gotta be there because he had gone through almost his whole deck other than the stuff that he had enduranced. He's like, I'm gonna kin and flip, and I was like, oh no.
Did
And
he find the subtlety?
finds just Hullbreaker Horror because he's like, I had a 50-50 shot of it being there because I hadn't seen it yet, and I enduranced my graveyard. And you're like, that hurts so bad.
It's not like a 50-50 shot. If he hadn't had subtlety, then like that's an option too, right?
Yeah.
No. I think he was sandbagging subtlety, but that's my opinion.
Interesting.
But no, he was just like, I think Hullbreaker Horror's in here, and it lands, and you're like, oh, you guys are dead. Cool.
Yep. It's over.
One thing we wanted to talk about was EDH Top 16 has the seat win rate for tournaments, each tournament now. I don't know if they're aggregating all this data. I'm sure that they are, but right now it's just displaying on each tournament. One thing that stands out to me about this one in particular was the draw rate's pretty high.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that apparently Max was saying was the case pretty much across the board, but like Max won a lot of games. I think he was 4-3 or 5-3 or something like that.
Yeah. 4-2-3.
4-2-3. But yeah, 36% is like, that's high, dude. I think like 20-ish feels fine to me, like between 20 and 25 feels fine. 36 feels really high.
Yeah, I know that again, I was watching some of the games on stream. There was a game in specific that like shows this stat pretty significantly. It was a game with Jace, and I don't really know who else was in the pod with him, but like this game was not supposed to be a draw. Like everyone had advantage. Jace was like slightly ahead, but his advantage was just Tim Necrom.
Yeah.
And like his opponents were like actively trying to force a draw on him. And like to the point where like they were letting Nas resolve so that they could like get a draw out of the game. And I was like, oh, that's crazy. And Jace even said in the game, like in audio, was like, hey, like if you guys really don't think you have a chance of winning this game, like you guys need to like reevaluate like a lot of your play style, because like I'm not just in a commanding position right now.
Yeah, it's weird because I think like watching some of this tournament, some of the player mentality is like regressed a bit because I totally agree. Like I was watching it and I was hearing a lot of players talk about draws. I'm like looking at the game state. I'm like, why are we even talking about a draw here? Like, do you really? Do you
It's
really
something
feel like
that
you
I've like
can't
specifically
win?
started working on in my own playstyle of being like, I think that it's like healthier for my progress as a player at this point, where I'm like, I think I would rather play a game out, and if I lose it, than try to get a draw, right? Like, don't get me wrong, there's obviously jumping off points where you're like, no, I'm definitely losing this game and I need to force a draw here. But like, I just think it makes you a better player to like try to figure out ways around those things, because like the bigger and bigger tournaments get, like 5 points is so much better than getting a draw.
Yep.
So it's just something that I've been working on, because I completely agree. I think that like people have regressed a little bit. They just like think that drawing is the correct decision a lot of times.
I just didn't feel that way at Breach, and like I don't think Jordan, you really kind of felt that way either. So I don't know if that's a locality thing.
I
Yeah,
didn't feel like that at Rumble either.
I didn't feel it at Breach at all. The draws I ran into honestly were like games went to time and wins were about to be on the stack and we just didn't have time to get there.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like I didn't run into a lot of intentional drawing at Breach.
Yeah.
I also think that there's a notable like control deck in this top 16. Realistically, two of them, with Jin Sakai and Talion. So that might like play a little bit of it, right?
Maybe, but I don't know. I was seeing it from other players too, and maybe Evan will shed some light on this, but or other people that were at this tournament. But it was just kind of strange, and like now that we're seeing the stats of like 30%, 36% draw rate,
Yeah.
that just seems like extraordinarily high. But maybe I'm wrong in that.
When Max and I were talking about this today, I asked him if he felt that the draw rate was so high because of the amount of content and the just rapidity at which players are improving their skill. And I'm curious if you guys feel like more and more players are just recognizing when a draw is the correct opportunity rather than losing the game, or if you think it is now indexing too far into, oh, I'm just going to scrape by and get whatever I can get out of this.
I think it's a little bit of both, right? Like I do think that people are a little bit more conscious about games that are in losing states and know how to force that draw and get a point. But I do think that it is also a little bit of the other reason too, of like, I think that a lot of people are offering and accepting draws way before than they actually need to.
I agree with that.
It's hard to identify when the correct time is to draw or to even start talking about it, because sometimes if you miss that window, then it's like too late, and then the draw is no longer possible. And that's not a skill that is necessarily worth honing, but it will net you more points if you're good at it than if you aren't. But even then, it's like 1 or 2 points maybe that you're missing out on. So like it's not that big of a deal. But when you're fine tuning and honing all of your skills as a player, that is something you just have to consider, is like when is the correct time to offer a draw instead of a loss. But it's hard, and like it's not glamorous. It's not like fun. It's not like, oh, I'm so good at drawing the game. Like no one walks around and talks like that.
But I think like with the whole draw rate stuff, like people need to know that they like can win from any position, right? Like you're playing a cEDH deck. Like obviously there's going to be games where you get blown out, but like most of the time, like one draw can find you a line sometimes, right? Depending on what the card is.
Sure.
And so like, unless it's a win on the stack, like you can probably keep fighting depending on the board state a lot of the time, but like keep trying to win, you know?
I mean, dude, I think our game on Saturday is probably useful to talk about in that context, because Austin and I both assembled Tithe Fairy or Mastermind Kinnan. But because of the way that priority worked out, Austin's triggers were going to be able to resolve before mine. And there was one Esper trigger left that was a forced draw that would have reset priority to give me a treasure to mastermind on top of everything. And I was so hell-bent on I am not losing to Austin right now that I didn't stop to think like, oh, this is the last chance I have to get a point out of this game. Because once this draw gets paid for, it's over. And instead I was like, no, I'm not playing for a draw. You can pay for it if you want. And then I died because I was stubborn. But also, like, you played that perfectly, and I'm not upset that I'm upset that I lost, but not because of anything that went wrong. But that was one of those moments where I needed to take a breath and realize what was happening.
Yeah. Well, I think realistically the other two players needed to.
Sure. Yeah.
Like they did not realize that I was also winning that game.
Yep.
And they're like, oh, yeah, we're just
Shit.
dead. And I was like, oh, now there's 2 silences that have resolved too. Have fun.
Yep. Yeah. I even had a veil too. It was just
Yeah.
one of those things.
Yep.
But yeah, there is some spice in this tournament too. And Joe was who won Frenzy on Rogthras and is playing
Vile
Thras now.
Smasher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. The
So-
rise of this deck is concerning to me.
Why is it concerned? It's like a totally fair deck, to be honest. I think the deck is completely fair, and you've talked about in the past about how like green adds something to the turbo archetype that white doesn't, and that is very clear. I think it's good. Like it's obviously good, but I think this is where you and I differ. Is that I think pushing 5 colors into the turbo archetype is probably too much. You kind of have to pick a lane, whether you want white or you want green, or you want to go just 3 color into Rogsai.
I agree.
And I think that, yeah, pushing 5, it feels a little rough sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree with that sentiment. I'm surprised, shocked, no, those are not the right words. I guess like joyfully surprised about how good this deck is doing, because it really is just gas, right? Like you are not adding any of the white spells that you can kind of use as a crutch when you're in 5 colors. Like you
And
don't,
this just
don't
looks like
necessarily need like
Varric's
value
list.
engines, right? I'm pretty sure it is just Varric's list.
Yeah.
But you lose a little bit of like your mid-range game plan, I guess, a little bit. But like when you're playing a deck like this, you're just trying to win, right? But you lose out on like silence and
Sure.
Orange Chant and
You
few
gain
other
problems.
things. You gain big problems.
Like you're able to use I call them like power cards, like Culling Ritual and Beseech the Mirror and Praetor's Grasp and Jessica's Will. You use these cards to, none of them like win kind of inherently, but your opponents kind of have to respond to them, otherwise they start becoming like huge issues.
Yeah, but you do lose like some of the crutches of like Esper Sentinel and Low Mulligans, and like you are playing a little bit more probability. You realistically are closer to the ROG side game plan with this deck than you are like a 5 color turbo deck or even like farm realistically. But I think that like its push potential is very, very strong. Tinderwall is an insane card that people just like don't realize is as good as it is. But yeah, I really like this deck a lot.
It's just wet Jund, dude. I look at this and I'm like, yeah, it's Jund Dargo, but way better.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Responsible Jund Dargo.
Indeed.
And then freaking Hapatra is in here. A lot of TKs.
A lot of TK.
Jin Sakai, which is very similar to like Esper Control, like Tibet, Malcolm,
it's like
Malcolm,
no, not Malcolm.
Timna,
Malcolm Timna,
yeah.
Rogthras, Kinnins, a lot of Kinnins. Another Thrasios Vile. This time in top 4. But
yeah, it's a real shame what happened in the top 4 of this game, because Ashton had to leave to catch his flight, and apparently he was down to play, but his friends. This is like third hand statement here. Apparently his friends was like kind of pressuring him to like, hey, we need to catch the flight because there's not another one coming out today, which is kind of a shame.
I mean, it sounds like the responsible thing to do. Sometimes you got to make decisions.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just like in the middle of the game, which I also want to commend Ashton. He did not push into Evan's, I think, triple Ristic study, because he's like, I'm just going to feed him and then lose. So I'm just going to try to do this one thing. If it doesn't work, then I'm just going to scoop. And I think that's like pretty commendable.
Yeah. And then obviously congrats to Evan for winning. And unfortunately, Max P, I mean, he had a great run. He was locked for top 16 on day 1, which is just it's insane.
He's been crushing it on TNT lately. His list is a little bit different than like traditional TNT, and it's definitely not the Cradle Farm version. But he's like leaning into like the no bad cards version of the deck, except for he's still playing Devoted Druid and Hazel's Brewmaster.
Yep.
Wow, he's on Eternal Witness?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
Talking to him about this deck today I'm excited for people to hear it. I think it was really interesting. But even like,
not this card, bro.
It's so good.
It's busted, dude. And Meme Bet, he said, was the all-star card for him, which is a card that not a lot of TNT is playing.
See, this is where I like struggle not that he's running Mnemonic Betrayal. It's that other TNTs aren't.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
agree.
understand. How can you read this card and in a tournament setting, like realistically cut it from your deck? I just don't see it.
I
think-
don't run it, and I think it's wrong that I don't.
I think that there is. I think if you're a deck that plays just a ton of layered combos, and then when I mean a ton, like you have 20 different ways to win the game, right? I think that it is very okay to not play this card. I don't know if that's the correct decision, but I think it's an okay decision. But if you are playing a deck that isn't overly layered in combos, such as Breach and Thoracle, like this card should not ever leave your list.
Wait, you're saying Breach and Thoracle aren't layered?
Sorry, like what I mean by like that is like, for example, in Cradle TNT, like Cloud of Fairies can be used in 6 different combos to win the game, right? The same thing with like Cradle and or Aboro or these other things, right?
I guess,
think,
but like what happens if all those things fail, or if the game state is just good enough where a Mnemonic Betrayal you just win? Like, why would you?
No,
I don't
don't get me
understand why
wrong.
you would cut it from the deck.
I think that if it doesn't match with your game plan, like it, don't get me wrong, it is like a nice tertiary or fourth win condition in the deck, but some decks I don't think absolutely need it.
I think if Mnemonic Betrayal doesn't fit in with your deck or your game plan, I will step out on the ledge and say your game plan is bad.
Well, like, okay, so for example, like Jordan Drake in his Cradle Farm deck is like playing Calamity's Wake and actively trying to be like, no, people can't use the graveyards in my games. Like,
Sure.
if you're on that plan, don't play Mean Bet.
But if I had to evaluate the card Calamity's Wake versus Mnemonic Betrayal, I would say that Mnemonic Betrayal is a better card.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I would agree with that in
Okay.
general statement.
So
but like,
that's all I'm saying. Is like you can make decisions, right? But also, who's to say you couldn't run both? Like, I don't know. You could probably run both.
I think that's something that I try to think about with cards like this that are like, and I'm not on Brewmaster Devoted Druid either, which is like considered a combo that you have to run in TNT by the like whatever zeitgeist. I think that sometimes, even though these cards have very powerful effects, they can create really distracting situations for you to be in, where what you actually need to be doing is pushing on what your deck is constructed to do the best. But that said, Mean Bet is a fucked up Magic card, and if it resolves,
Yeah.
you're probably winning the game.
It's not that good in 1v1. Like, it can be, right? But like in specifically 4-player, it is a fucked up Magic card.
yeah. I will also say I think that the combination of Culling Ritual and Mean Bet
True.
is like beyond fucked up.
Look, that's
Actually true.
we know that from Glarb.
Yeah, exactly.
That was a very real thing that I did.
I
I
used
was
to do it
doing
in
exactly
Atraxa.
a year ago.
I was doing it a lot in Atraxa too, right?
Sure.
Like that is, if you can run both, then you should probably be running both.
Even though I'm doing really well with and enjoying the Cradle Farm version of TNT, I am going to give Max's list a shot and just like see what differences I feel in the deck, because I do think there's a lot of really like intelligent, intentional decisions and strength in that plan that are clearly working out really well for him.
He definitely took a lot of like inspiration from playing Farm, right? And like brought those over to TNT.
Sort of. I
In some
actually asked him
ways.
that directly today.
Really?
There are aspects of that are true, but not entirely. The other card he said was a rock
so
star was
many dorks.
Colossal Sky Turtle. Yeah, he is on a lot of dorks.
I think Sky Turtle's also very underplayed. I think Sky Turtle's really, really good.
But I think he's more on the Kinnan plan, right? Like he's on like Treasures, Kinnan.
Yep.
Yeah.
That sort
He's
of
on
focus.
So many dorks.
Yeah.
Not counting Devoted Druid, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yep.
Spirit Guide doesn't really count. 6 dorks. And like Absence Pilgrim was crazy.
I agree.
But yeah, I mean, look, he's doing great with it. Max is a fantastic player. I think everyone should go watch the interview with Jordan and Max. That's going to be such an awesome interview. And we're really looking forward to that. All right, we can move on to the meat and potatoes this week.
Dude, so much meat and so much potatoes, dude.
Yeah, so regarding the banned and restricted announcement, Biorhythm is unbanned and Lutri, the Spell Chaser, is unbanned but remains banned as a companion.
Yeah, so the sentiment going into this was that, at least from our format's perspective, that this was going to be quite the shakeup before we got the announcement. We got the announcement, and it was maybe the most nothing burger announcement we've ever heard of in our format. Like, Biorhythm, I don't think we'll ever see play in CDH. And Lutri is a cool card that someone might do something cool with.
Yeah, I mean, okay. Let's forget about these for CDH. I think there's been a lot of talk about like, oh, could it be played in this or played in that, whatever. These cards are not going to be played. Realistically, they're not.
Correct.
So let's move on from that. I think what we can focus on is this. They are signaling stability to us.
Yeah.
By this ban list.
Yep.
Or lack of bans, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're saying like, hey, let's slowly chip at this and see where things go.
Yeah, I think if you watch or read any of the like associated content with this with people from the CFP, a lot of them talk about a lot of these decisions were like 50-50 decisions, specifically with like the hybrid mana changes and Rhystic Study ban and or like keeping it unbanned. And they basically said like they will like them it would be not responsible for them to make a decision when the community is so split on if something should happen or shouldn't happen. And so like that's exactly what you're saying, right, Logan, is that they are showing that they're not willing to do something unless an overwhelming majority of the entirety of their player base wants it.
Yeah, we can look at like we had the sentiment a while ago when we heard about the hybrid mana change being a possibility. We thought it was very likely. We thought we're like, oh, Lorwyn's coming out. There's all these hybrid mana cards in Lorwyn. They're reprinting Beseech the Queen and Secret Lair. There's like all these signals that maybe this is happening, right? But I think when it came down to it, there was a lot of feedback, and like I personally pushed back on it. Not to say that I'm like, I doubt that I contributed to this in any meaningful way, but I mean, like I pushed back on it. A lot of other people pushed back on it and said like, hey, this is actually going against what the format feels like is correct, and here's all the reasons why it would just make things more complicated. Here's all of the like screwed up things it could allow for. Like I don't think Shorakai should have Luris as a potential companion. I just, or like even had it in the deck. It just, I don't know. There's too many things to consider, right?
Sure.
And like Blue Farm, we're obviously speaking from CEDH perspective, but like Blue Farm should not have Metamorphose. Probably not a good idea.
Yeah, probably not a good idea.
Things like this. So I think that because they listened to our feedback and like we had that strong sentiment that this was likely, and all of a sudden it's, like, oh wait, actually it didn't come to pass. That is signaling to me maybe they're listening.
Well, so what's really interesting is apparently they couldn't sift through all of like the chatter, so they sent out surveys for the hybrid mana change, like specifically, and the surveys came back as like legitimate 50-50. And you're like, what the fuck? Like that's crazy. Like they had, I think it was like 20%, like on a scale of like 1 to 5 of like, hey, do you guys want this to happen? Do you not want this to happen? And it was like 25% yet, like strong 5, and then like 17% 4, and then like 20% 3, and then 17% 2, and then 25% 1. And you're just like, what is this? Like that's crazy. So I do think that it's a good thing that Wizards is not willing to make a change that the entirety of the format's not behind, though. Like I think that's a good thing.
Yeah. I think I took this as a sign that, much like Logan said, like they're listening, they're paying a lot closer to attention to mouthpieces of our format, cEDH specifically. Like it's not just commander considerations, and they're being more intentional about making choices that also impact us. And I think that that's a really positive thing. There are people who viewed this as like them being like too scared to take action or something like that. And I don't think that's the case at all. I think this was actually the right decision.
Yeah.
This to me signals like a steady hand that wants to maintain the health of something that's doing really well.
I think the other like underlying thing about this is the fact that Rhystic Study and Thoracle did not take the ban. And in this article, they talk about Thoracle, and they're like, realistically, I don't think Thoracle's ever going to even be considered to be banned anymore, because we were thinking about banning it for cEDH health, and the entirety cEDH community was like, no, just let us win the game sometimes.
Yeah. We haven't seen anything close enough to a volume indicating these cards should go. Thassa's Oracle seems mostly enjoyed by the competitive community, while not showing up much outside of the highest power levels. The case seems mostly closed on that one, although things could change, which is the 100% correct take on it.
Yeah.
I also really liked that last statement, right? The bar to ban a card in Commander is quite high, and I wouldn't expect any action to be taken if things remain on the current trajectory. Like that's what it should be. It's an eternal format. Like leave it alone.
I've said this a few times in our Discord now, and I've said this a little bit like in private conversations. I don't think we will ever see another banned card in our format. Like I really, unless something is like drastically broken.
Nadu wasn't that long ago, bro.
What's up?
Nadu wasn't that long ago.
I know, well, but like Nadu was a mistake in every format.
Sure,
right?
But they can make mistakes again.
Oh, for sure. And like that's why I said it's like unless something is drastically broken, right?
Sure.
Which like Nadu was. It broke every format, right? Like literally.
I mean, that's the way it should be, though. Like I wouldn't make any claims like that, but I see what you're going for regarding the sentiment. Like things feel good right now, especially for us, and like I know that we're not the only people playing this format, right? But regarding cEDH, I think things feel pretty solid. Rhystic is a incredibly powerful card, as we've seen at the Dallas event. There's no question about it.
Mm-hmm.
Players can also make choices to play against it in different ways. That we can try to know that Evan's going to play his second Rhystic Study. Maybe we should try to counter it.
This is like, I watched a few of these games with Evan, and like there's so many times where he just like keeps a hand that is a clone of Rhystic, and you're like, just like, if you're a farm player, accept that you can beat him with Timna Crom and don't put your Rhystic Study into play until he puts one into play first. Right?
Yeah, I think we saw like a Smothering Tithe go to the graveyard, right? Because they didn't want him to clone it. And I'm like, yes.
Yeah, that's exactly what you should be doing, right? Like, but I don't know. Like the deck is like incredibly parasitic. Like specifically Kinnan is on that one card, and like people keep like playing into his hand by putting it into play.
Yeah, it's like copy enchantment my Crom, dumbass. Like
you're like, oh cool. Like work. I don't care if you have all like if you just don't give him the draw engine, which is like Sireno and like Jason has, like I've talked to them about this, and they're like, sometimes you just have to grief Kinnan, right? At this point in the game, they have gotten rid of every good flip they have except for like Hullbreaker Horror and maybe Unagi, and like.
And they don't have tutors. They don't have real tutors. They have drift.
Dizzy Spell, bro.
Yeah, Dizzy Spell and drift. Like,
and so like at this point,
real.
Like if you just like let them have all the mana in the world but no cards, they can't do anything.
Yeah, I totally agree. But I mean, cEDH, as we said before, is very, very good at self-regulating. Our meta changes drastically for no reason at all. And not to say no reason at all, but like reasons that are outside of our control and outside of things that we can predict oftentimes.
Dude, and it's regional.
Yeah.
And it's regional. We just talked about like, we're like, oh, we were just in San Fran, and like that was not the meta at all. And that was like 2 weeks before this.
Yeah.
Things don't change that quickly.
I mean, also we live in a world where Muxus and Mono Red Jaws can just win tournaments or top cut tournaments.
Dude. We live in a world where Tim is in top 10 of our 500-person league with Winota. He's exclusively playing Winota.
Also, Winota top 16 to tournament, like a large tournament this week.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
But also, huge shout out to Vintage
no
Goblins or to Legacy Goblins in cEDH. I love it. I love it so much.
Dude, is 2026 the year for Dredge in cEDH?
There was someone just top cut with the Tarkir Tibal Precon commander that's like a Dredge Lands deck.
Interesting.
And I don't know, maybe.
Well, anyway, this is all good news, at least from my perspective. I think it's great news, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I want more stuff unbanned, but hopefully if we send the right signals, we say like things are good, we can get more unbans as time goes on.
Yeah.
But I think some modicum of stability is what we're looking for, and that's exactly what we got.
Yeah. Which again, if you like listen to any of the episodes or read any of the articles that are like surrounding this statement, it does seem like there is more leaning towards unbans happening a lot more, right? Like people are just like, oh, it's been safe. And speaking of, unleash the demon, let me have him.
I think it's a reasonable unban. I just don't care that much.
Okay, so realistically, I have been talking about unbanning this card for the last a month and a half now. I was kind of memeing and did not expect the sentiment that has happened in the last few days. But like, it sounds like Grizzlebrand might get unbanned sooner rather than later, which is wild to me. Now, do I think this card will see play in our format? Maybe. I think
It's
might
certainly
see
powerful
play.
enough to.
Like, it definitely has the effect that we're looking for,
Look,
right?
It will see play because you can Soul Cauldron it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's really what it comes down to.
You can Brewmaster it, right?
You can Brewmaster it, you can Soul Cauldron it, you can... Like, this gives a legitimate target for Reanimator that doesn't just, like, lose to any piece of interaction like Broodlord does.
Kalia's last standing man has yet another tool at his disposal.
True.
And Crick can technically play this, I guess.
Yeah, probably. I think Crick probably
play
does.
This? I don't know if he does. I honestly, I don't know what Crick does other than, like, try to win the game and not get there most of the time.
Yeah. But this is like, you know, I think that their action has opened the door for reasonable conversations about cards like this, where we can, the process is you unban it to the game changer list directly.
Yeah.
And then it kind of sits there, and then we see how things go, and then it can potentially move off a game changer list. Not this one. This one's going to stay on the game changer list if it's unbanned, right?
Yeah, this one's never escaping that cage right there.
Yeah.
But I think that also the surrounding conversation on Yawgmoth's Bargain is really interesting because people are pretty, like, they are unwilling to say that card's going to get unbanned, but it really is just because of monetary value, in my opinion.
Maybe.
Because, like, Bargain and Grizzlebrand are so similar that, like, I don't know, they're almost not identical, but, like, they do the same things, right? But like, if you unban Bargain, the card shoots up to like $600, and Wizards can't make monetary value. Like, there's no monetary incentive for them to do it, right?
They said that they're not banning and unbanning based on that, but Rebels video says otherwise. So I don't know what to think, right? But anyway, good news on all those fronts. Interesting conversation about Grizzlebrand. I think it will probably be unbanned.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
You know what's also really cool about Grizzlebrand in Chowder specifically is Demonic Council is not a dead card in your deck anymore.
True,
if you have a Tithe and a Demonic Council, you're like, yeah, we're going, dude, let's go.
That's so funny. I also, for the few of our listeners who do still play casual, the fact that Farewell's on a game changer it's where it belongs. Fuck that card.
I agree 100%.
That was like the only other notable change from this.
It changes the game.
It does change the game.
So Max is posting this, and I think there's a lot of conversation on cEDH Twitter about the top 10 right now. Max P says, my top 10 is Kinnan, TNK, Rogsai, Rogthras, Ral, Sisay, TNT, Tim Nadargo, Atali, Thras, Vile. I very jokingly said, why do you play the number 7 deck? All love, Max. Yeah, no, definitely no hard feelings, and I'm not just giving you a hard time for sure. But I think this is pretty reasonable. I think
I agree with. This was the closest to quote unquote correct, I think, that I saw on Twitter today, for me at least.
Yeah, I think that I respect a lot of these decks that are on here. I'm happy that Ral is showing up on a lot of people's lists because that deck is actually terrifying and people just like don't know how to play it against it, and that's why it's winning a lot of the time. But it is just like blistering fast. My only thing with this list that I don't like is Atali being on it.
Yeah, I don't think Atali deserves a swat necessarily. There's too much
think
variance right now.
We haven't seen Atali do anything significant really since last summer.
In Max's list, I think I'd replace Atali with Vivi, maybe.
Yeah, I want a little bit more. I want a little bit more longevity on the VB. Like, because
Yeah.
yes, it's doing well in the last few weeks, and it did well in its first few weeks, but there was like a stint there where VV
What
was like,
I wonder what the context is for this.
great.
Is it like the right now this is how he feels, period, or is it like in the past 3 weeks, or is it the past 6 months, or whatever?
Yeah.
It's hard to tell with very little context. I did think his GIF that he posted was very funny.
Yes.
What other decks do you think are missing from this list?
I hate doing the negative space thing. My brain doesn't compute what's missing. I have a really hard time doing that.
I am the same way. I can look at a list of what is apparent and be like, yes, this makes sense to me.
I think
But I
Tivit's
cannot
missing.
fathom. Yeah.
Wait, what's up?
Tivit. I think Tivit's missing.
I could see Tivit instead of Atali. I think that's fine.
B-Sphere, me, Jax, and I know a couple other players. I don't know them by name. Also, Vinny has been doing well on Tivit. The deck is just feeling really good. It's very responsible, can play through and play against all these decks just fine. It is like a meta deck through and through. There's really nothing crazy or strange about it. You can make it a little bit strange if you want to, but you don't really need to, and it's just a strong deck.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm looking at the top, like EDH top 16, so I can have negative space filled in for my brain. And I don't really see anything that I feel is missing from that list. I think there's like a couple of individuals that I'm very scared of on other decks, but
Yeah.
not that I'm like, I sit down at the table and I'm like, oh, this is one of the problems we're dealing with.
Yep.
Yeah. I would kind of agree with that. I do think that I just disrespect Atali so much, realistically. But I do think that 5-color turbo should just also be on here instead of Atali.
I think
whether
we
that's
should...
Terra or Essica or
I
even
think
just a
Terra's really
5-color
bad.
soup is better than
So
Atali,
bad,
in my
dude.
opinion.
Oh yeah. I agree with that. But if you put like Tivit on this list, then there's no Atali and there's no 5-color, and I think I'm fine with that.
Yep.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I think I put Tim Nadargo slightly higher just because it's hard to argue with. It has the if you look at the biggest tournaments, it's TND and TNK have like the most actual event wins of like very large tournaments.
Do you think that it's just because Tim Nadargo is a deck that I don't lose to very often?
Yep.
But Tim Nadargo's plan in Swiss of just I'm gonna win the game is a good plan most of the time.
Hey,
right?
That's the plan in top 4 too.
Yeah. It's
Just saying.
Yep. But do you think that it's game plan in those top 16 pods is also good?
So I think it is. I think that we were actually just talking about this in the Dargo Discord of hey, friends, a lot of us aren't winning games anymore. People have figured out what our shtick is. Do we need to change how the deck operates because people understand what we're doing now? And I don't know if that's necessarily true, but I do think it's a deck that people used to not really know what the interaction points were, kind of like you were talking about with Raoul. They just don't respect it enough. And if you don't respect that deck, you're dead. But if you do respect the deck and mulligan accordingly, actually answer your question though, I think it's one of, if not the best decks in the format at winning second. And so when you're navigating those top 16 pods, you need to be willing to engage with your Timna plan and just hang out and point out problems and wait very patiently, or top deck voice and slam it down people's throats and just win the game. Also, is an option.
I think the deck performs not that great against farm and other Timna Dargos because if they have a silence, that's what the deck folds to. Yep. But decks like Kinnan, generally speaking, struggle against these decks.
Yeah,
that's why they try to include cards like Subtlety or cards like Colossal Sky Turtle and stuff like that. Or they try to stall out the game enough where they can slow them down so Kinnan can get its advantage engines out and then play at flash speed on top. I think that Timna Dargo is just a really good deck at just pushing through wins, and certain meta decks just can't handle it.
Yeah. I think it's also it's a deck that wins on probability as well, right? If you just make people have it enough, then most of the time you'll get there sometimes, right?
Yep. Well, and a lot of the time too, people, you'll be like, hey, show me a reason not to push right now. And people will be like, here's a Fierce Guardianship. And it's that does nothing to my Technomancer. I'm going to push now.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I don't know. It's interesting. But I also am really glad to see Ral and Rogthras specifically higher on this list because I think that those decks really need to be respected in a way that they weren't for a while.
My personal list, I do not put Rogthras in 4.
Do you have it in the top 10 at all for you?
Yeah. It's got to be in the top 10 for sure,
Yeah.
right? But I think like I agree with 1, 2, 3, right? Like it is not 1 and 2, it's 1A, 1B, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's like pretty much the common consensus right now. With Rogsai being 3rd, and then a gulf between the next decks.
Speaking of which,
Yeah.
this is what I tweeted. I don't think it
So
represents
funny.
everyone at the channel, but I just thought it was funny.
Yeah.
1A, Tim Nukram. 1B, Kinnan. Forget 2. Skip to 3, Rogsai. 4, Vileithras. I actually think this deck is insane.
Yeah, Vileithras
really
is a good deck. Like, it's really good.
Yeah. I just can't imagine it being anywhere else but right there. And then I said, why are you playing anything below this line? And then 5, everything else.
See, I don't agree with it. Like, I think this is a little bit of bait, but like, if we were to like tier out the system, I think that there's 3 S tier decks, and then there's like a swath of like A plus, and then there's everything else, in my opinion.
Yep. And
but yeah,
I think when you like at a certain point too, you have to open the door to like people perform better on stuff that they understand and that they care about playing well.
And
like
they
so
like.
and they like. So you give them the deck specialist route and like maybe they suck butt on Tim Necrom, but they just like eat people alive on insert weird fringe slop here.
Well, it's like,
and that's okay.
It's the same thing with like Tyler and like Arkham, right?
Yeah.
Like you give him Tim Necrom and he like feels uncomfortable and not great on it.
Oh no, he beats my ass too, dude. We lost. We lost, bro.
I know. We did lose that game.
Look, TK
like I
is
said, not saying that's like actually true that he is like not good on that deck, but like he actively feels not great on that deck yet. And like, but you put him on Arkham and you're like, oh, he has a better chance at winning this game than losing this game, right?
Yep.
Like deck specialists are a real thing.
Sure, right. But that doesn't make the deck, generally speaking, that good.
Agreed.
Yep. Agreed.
I'm trying to speak from the most general terms, and I think that while this is a little bit of engagement rate, like I do generally feel this way. I think that like we have 2 established best decks in the format right there, and they do very broken things with each other. Rogsai is like the hidden third option where it's like we have to be very aware and very careful around that deck. Vileithras is starting to show its power and that it's doing well in these events, making top 16 at some regularity. And then everything else is just kind of crapshoot, which is good. That's good, by the way.
Yeah.
This is not me saying that every deck is bad. No. Everything is so good. It's very, very hard to quantify everything else below that.
Yeah. The other thing that I do want to talk about is that like Rogsai actually could be the best deck in the format, but so many people hate against it and know that you can't not respect it.
But that's one aspect of being good or bad, though, right?
For sure, right?
You have to be able to play through that, like, quote, like hate, and like if it's not able to do that, then.
So the reason why I like bring this up though is that like we just saw the standard, what is it called? Not the PTQ, the Pro Tour that just happened.
Sure.
And like everyone accepted that the Badger Mole deck was the best deck, but everyone just like meta called against it and made it not the best deck, right? And I think that's what happens to Rogsai, but on a game by game basis, is that like people kind of understand that it's the biggest threat in the format, but like we've all agreed that we shouldn't lose to it.
I think it's interesting because it operates on a different axis than TNK and Kinnan do, where like you can very easily position yourself as the ally on either of those decks. And Rogsai is not making friends with anybody. No. It is going to win the game. And TNK and Kinnan will also eventually win the game, but first they'll stop you from not dying. And so people let them get away with realistically more than you should. Yeah. But then you also get into this crapshoot of if you don't let them get away with more than you should, you're going to lose to the Turbo deck. And then you're in a weird spot.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes you can, like, you need them, right?
Yeah.
And Rogsai, like, if you need them, you're losing the game to them.
The thing with Timna Crom is that it's just the most flexible deck in the format.
Yeah.
You can play the Necro game, you can play the Oz game, you can play the Rhystic Study game. You can do lots of different things very easily, and recognizing the modes that you're playing in is probably the hardest part of the deck. And then, you know, the like little intricacies and stuff of the overlapping lines and whatnot, that's the hard part of the deck. But outside of that, It's very, very powerful because it can do those things. Kinnan is just really good against TK specifically because it kind of does a lot of those things better. Kinnan doesn't realistically have a turbo plan in that NBC variant, but Rogsai can do the turbo plan better, but it doesn't really have the mid-range mode very well, very good. So it's just kind of like, but Vile Thras is kind of like trying to do all of those things. So that's why I think it's kind of like the up and coming thing.
I will say, I think that Vile Thras' like mid-range plan is not really a plan. They really don't have a mid-range plan. Like, there's no reason to have Thrasia. Like, there's
their mid-range
nothing
plan
to
is
take
Cabbage
advantage.
Merchant.
Yeah, sure, that's true. It's like
Cabbage Merchant,
and
Mystic, and then
Yeah.
Gracios, which is like not that good, but it's not that bad either. It's still better than what some of the other decks are doing.
Sure.
I mean, realistically, if you assemble those things, it's better than what Sisay has. Not to call you out specifically, but like Sisay is not a value engine.
In some builds, I agree with you. In some builds, I don't.
Right, but generally speaking,
Yes.
doesn't matter what the build is. Thrasios does the same thing.
I think that for the comparable amount of mana, if you were playing Chowder, you will get more cards eventually than Thrasios will in Vile Thras. So, okay, like Vile Thras, like they don't have any reducers, right? Like they don't have any of it.
But the deck is not figured out yet. In its like not figured out turbo state, that's where it's at right now. There's no cost reducers, no training grounds, whatever. But there's no indication that you shouldn't be on those because they're 1 and 2 mana.
I realistically don't think they're going to because it reduces the turbo plan and like it is all in on the turbo.
It doesn't reduce the turbo plan necessarily because you could replace things like Vexing Bubble, which is not 100% necessary, and like Dosin is not that good.
Sure, I don't think that they are going to replace those cards with like a grind plan. I think they're going to replace those cards with more gas.
But that's exactly what Farm does. Like why couldn't it? There's no realistic reason why it couldn't.
I think you get into the question of
cards,
like,
right?
Why play Vile Thras in that combination if you're going to index too far into Thrasios plan? Because there's better options at a certain point.
Like, I don't even know if the Vile Thras deck's playing Cradle right now.
I agree. There's better options there north of what Vile Thras is doing. There's Tim the Crom, Kinnan, there's Rogsai, right? We just talked about this, but I'm just saying, like, I don't think the deck is that bad. There's a lot to be explored about the deck, but I do think that it is very, very close to being like, I mean, it's just underexplored. Like, no one's playing it right now. And the people that are playing it are doing well with it.
Don't get me wrong. Like, I agree with you, like, when it comes to, like, the deck being good. But, like, to say that Thras in that deck is a better value engine than Sisay and Chowder is, I think, wrong.
Maybe.
Because, like at worst, like, Sisay can turn you into Kinnan or Lotho or, like, these other value pieces. And then, like,
but what's like making more mana, right? Like that is one thing Thrasios does is make.
Yeah, but like then you just get Necrodom and then you draw 35.
Sure.
Like truly, right? And that's where I'm like alluding to, right? Is that like Thrasios will never get to that many cards in that deck that Sisay can.
It's also running Necrodom and Necropotence.
No, okay, yeah, agreed. But I'm not saying like the commander itself can't go get that value.
There's other things to consider. We don't have to stick on this too long. There's other things to consider, such as Thrasios is cheaper. It can be activated at instant speed, and I guess Sisay can too, but you're not getting Necrodom at instant speed. Like, even if you do, it doesn't do anything for you, right? Because you don't get the trigger to your end step. So there's something to be said for just the way the deck plays, and I think it doesn't sound that good, but I think it does play better than it sounds. And even Jason will tell you the same thing. Like, the deck is gas. You're absolutely correct. That is its mode right now. But I do think that there is some hidden like alternative where you can flex the deck a little bit more instead of just into that like, gas mode.
Even if you are indexing really heavily into the gas mode, if I look at a card like Mardu Devotee in Timna Dargo, you read that card and you're like, oh, this is actual dog shit. But the card selection in shells that are trying to go that quickly and have so much density in like gas to explode, having card filtering like that matters. And even a 4-mana Thras activation going into your turn to clear a top deck or have an extra land or whatever, like it feels bad. It's not really a plan, but it is useful.
Yeah, I mean,
And to
there
Logan's
could be
point,
cards exactly like that. Like, let's say we all know for one specific reason that Temur Battlecryer is a broken ass card, and like that is an option that could be played in the deck. Not to say that it should be, but there's just not that exploration happening yet. I think we're just on the very cusp of what the deck is capable of, and we should just be aware of it.
dude, how
Agreed,
cool is
100%.
it that partners who got printed in 2016 or whatever it was are still have an undiscovered and underexplored pairing?
I like
Like,
it.
that's fucking
Well,
awesome.
What's crazy is that this deck was a deck before
Sure.
we were even part of the format, Jordan, right? Like it used to be a
Yeah.
control deck.
Oh yeah, it was like Curiosity Control, right?
Yep.
Dude, I mean, I kind of feel that way about Temur Dargo still too. Like that was one of the preeminent decks pre-bans, and then it just like died in a hole.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But no one's playing it. And maybe there's room to figure this stuff out still.
For
Yeah.
sure.
I agree.
All right. Let's end with two questions we got on AdNos. VT Robo Guy says, one of the coolest things I've experienced in League is being able to see the developers of amazing tools like the new Top Deck Qbot and Eldrazi.dev get improved live with community feedback. What are some tools you wish that we had access to that we don't have yet? Maybe some of those awesome devs can make it happen.
This is kind of coming from like a place of
That's my bad.
privilege. A lot of the time we can ask for tools to get developed
For
and
sure.
they get developed. Or like there's a lot of developers that are like actively in our ears, like asking for feedback about like what they can do to make something that's like useful for our community. So a lot of the stuff that we ask for specifically on like Eldrazi.dev and Convoke, these guys are implementing at a rapid rate, which is amazing. Outside of that, some of the tools that I wish we had, I mean, selfishly, I think that it would be awesome if we could make like a MTGO that was not that.
Yeah.
Like realistically, if we had like an Eldrazi dev that was also multiplayer, that was like not manipulatable by like the same way that Moxfield stuff is, then I think that would be kind of cool. I don't know what that looks like at all, but I think that would be
So
like
you're
the
saying like
next
you want
thing.
like a multiplayer digital, something that's just like easily accessible. We can play the format online without having to worry about like
exactly.
people cheating and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think it's a reasonable thing, but it would definitely take a lot of work.
Yeah. I think like
And then
that's
Wizards would
that's
shut that shit down like kind of immediately.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean like it's weird because like there are tools that are like that are like in sub things, right? Like Cockatrice is that, but it's like from 1982.
I think the reason they don't shut it down is because it's shitty. Not to
Yeah.
say that like Cockatrice is bad, but like it looks bad, therefore they don't really care.
Yeah.
If it looked prettier, they'd be like, oh well, everyone's using this, therefore we can't let them do that.
And like the same thing can be like said about like Tabletop Simulator. Like you can kind of do the same thing with TTS, but like then people have to buy Tabletop Simulator and get familiar with that program, which as much as I love that program and I think it's amazing, like it's not the most user friendly immediately.
It's also like it feels like you're playing Magic to an extent, but it also just feels like an out of body experience playing Magic. It's really weird.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think something like that would be really interesting. I don't know how that would come to be, but
I want a tool that you can give your best sales pitch to for why it should let your Smothering Tithe resolve. And it tells you the percentage chance that the other players in the pod would have believed you if I'm living in fairy tale land. Like some sort of tool that trains you into how to navigate those like psyop situations.
A tool that turns you into the Evan Freedom Waffle Pierce. And
yeah, exactly.
You can practice politicking over and over again.
The best way to get your Smothering Tithe to resolve is let someone else's resolve first, and then you're like, all right, sick. Now mine's guaranteed to land.
True.
Someone's gonna mention the exact situation, but I remember someone talking about like, oh, I got my tithe countered, and then immediately after Sisei's tithe resolved, and I was like, very cool.
Yep. I mean, that almost happened to us in our top 4 game on last Friday. Like I was on seat 1 and I played a turn 1 fish and the Ral pyroblasted it off the gemstone cavern, and so I had to like defend it with a force of will, which feels very bad. But like Jordan's over there salivating because he was also playing a turn 1 fish.
Yep.
Like
yeah. it's hard. Like that's the dynamics of like draw engines, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if I have like a particular thing that I want kind of like developed. I just think like the more stats and more information, if we can like make these more accessible to people to actually interpret instead of just like through APIs and stuff, that'd be fantastic, because I'd like love to dig through some of the stuff and start to put it together. But I also don't really have the time to like write API calls and kind of do that.
I also think just like increasing the qualities of the said tools that we are already working on, right? Like Eldrazi.dev is amazing. I do think that like there's a possibility of, while you're like testing out a game or testing out like a goldfish, of like clicking a button and being like, what are the chances my opponents have a counterspell for something like this?
Yeah.
And like it just sends it to you and you're just like, oh cool, like I got stopped. Like, and it like teaches you these play patterns. But like that is like something that we like legitimately could ask for and will be in the tool in a week.
I asked for Cascade today and it got implemented today.
Yeah, exactly. Like we've been asking for like necropiles and nospiles and like all these other things, and these things are getting implemented at a rapid rate. So I think that just like really supporting these guys, realistically, like supporting them on Patreon, because they're willing to kind of do whatever the community is asking for, and they just want it to be a good tool that everyone will use.
Dude, the stream mode in Convoke is nuts.
Yep, it's insane.
And the fact that you can preset it to automatically record your games and record all 4 players on different channels and download that from your account whenever you want is bananas. And that's something that apparently I asked them to do, which I forgot. And then like five days later, they're like, hey, we built that thing you asked for. It's incredible. We're in a really exciting time. I messaged you guys earlier, like, I'm going down the rabbit hole of paying for like the premium tier coding models. And I spent this morning just like telling it to make random shit. And you can do that now. Like anyone can make anything to varying degrees of quality. And we're
I understand the
Jordan's over here wasting water, bro.
I understand the anti-AI sentiment with like art and stuff.
Yeah.
But let's be realistic. Like the levels of this development would not happen without tools like this.
Absolutely
not. That's the TLDR of my point. Is like we're gonna keep seeing really new, really exciting stuff.
All right, Emily asks, and she was very upset you guys didn't answer this last time. She says, as a partner to a cEDH tournament grinder and mother of a future cEDH prodigy, I haven't actually read this yet. I was disappointed that neither Breach the Bay nor Royal Rumble had any live stream games or tournament coverage. With multiple big cEDH events happening recently without live coverage, I'm curious how you all view streaming's role going forward. Is live coverage essential for growing and legitimizing the format, or the downsides, aka like cost, complexity, etc., are they still too high? If a tournament does choose to stream, what do you think is the minimum bar for doing it well? On the other hand, what is the dream setup?
So I'll just talk a little bit about the dream setup, I guess, because that's immediately on my mind. I think what Basics is doing is they're doing a really good job right now. Yep. If they can if that idea can be expanded on to having like multiple stream setups and having a casting team that can like bounce between each stream setup, like that is the dream scenario, right? Because it's like what happens on the Pro Tour of like they can jump into a game as it's happening. They can jump out of it, have it a little bit of analysis, jump back into a different game, right? So I think like being able to stream the top like 5, 6, 7, 8 tables, I think is like realistically like what we should be striving for. Now, when it comes down to like pricing of that, that's not possible right now, right? Like we would need to have crazy sponsorships. The team would have to travel with a crazy amount of equipment. So like there's some very large walls there. When it comes down to like disappointment, I agree. I think that like the game should have been streamed. And from what I understand, I think that they did have a stream team for Rumble, but they bailed out relatively late, which feels bad. And we know from personal experiences is like that happens a lot, like a lot of times right now. Like there's a lot of stream teams that like commit to doing a tournament, and then like a week before we're getting hit up and being like, hey, can you guys do it? And we're like, dude, you gave us 5 days, like no shot.
Well, no, there is a shot, but it costs a lot of money.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like we can do it. right? But if you don't have the scratch for it, then like, yeah, it doesn't happen.
Like we
And
just
that's
can't.
totally
Yeah, like we can't.
that's totally
feasibly
reasonable too.
go
Like,
for it, but
yeah, we haven't booked flights, and like all of a sudden, yeah, the week before,
Yeah.
guess what? The flights are double the cost. Like, we can't pay out of pocket for that.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
I think
Sorry, go ahead.
it was really interesting watching the stream of Dallas and primarily watching the chat on stream. And not that you should ever use chat of a stream as an indicator for the health of something, but a lot of the discourse was around like specifically how bad the players were. And meanwhile, the pod is like Jace, Max, Evan, and some other all-star.
Oh yeah.
And I think the reason that appears to be true if someone doesn't play as much of the format is you don't understand. At our top four on Friday, there was the Gitrog player watching us, Austin. And he's like, I'm watching you guys to learn. And I feel like an hour and a half just went by where literally nothing happened. And
Yeah.
what gets lost in that is the micro decisions and micro swaps in advantage state that is very difficult to translate when you're not the one in the game.
Yeah, it was a really interesting conversation. I think I know who you're talking about. Like someone was like,
Yeah.
"What just happened?" And I was like, "Oh, the person that was 1v3ing just switched about 6 times in one like minute and a half."
Yep.
And he's like, "What the fuck? Like how did you guys like how that's like
What do you? Oh, sorry, I'm not 100% following. What do you mean? Like they
so
switched?
in this game, it was me, Jordan, Jason, and then the Rao player, and like multiple times throughout one stack, someone else became the leader, and you were like, oh shit,
Oh, okay, okay.
like
Yeah.
they're the problem now, and
Yeah.
it happened like with one spell or the other spell, and you're just like for someone to be able to follow that not in the game is like very difficult sometimes, right?
Yep.
And so like the streaming that is very hard to do without also hand knowledge, right? Which like I
Yeah.
think that is something that Basic is doing well, is like trying to get knowledge out of the people's hands, specifically their starting hands. But like as these like long like Ristic Study battle games or like the crazy long stack interactions, like it's hard to get that in real time, right?
Well,
So it's hard.
here's the deal. It's possible.
It is possible.
We can do it, right? I have that POV cam. That is just a sample of what's possible.
Mhm.
If you want to watch, I have a video, or we have a video on our channel, and I wore a body cam essentially. It's like a police body cam. It's an action cam, right? But I recorded a cEDH game from my perspective, and you're like, yeah, it's from my chest, right? But you can see my hand. You can kind of see what other things are going on. But I edited the video in such a way where I'm pointing out like, this person's playing this person's playing this. This is kind of the flow of the game. Try to make it understandable. When you go to a streaming setup, what we could do is have mounted cameras for people's hands and board state that is facing outward, right? And we can toggle between those cameras. This is not the cheapest setup in the world, but we could do it where there's at minimum 4 cameras and you can toggle between them and say, from this player's perspective, this is what they're seeing, this is what they have in their hand. And then the hardest thing to get across to audiences, especially if you're not following from the get-go, let's say you join in the middle of a game, you don't have the context or the texture of the game, what's happened up to this point, because there's so many things that matter, and that this game tells a story where you're jumping into the middle of Lord of the Rings, the Twin Towers, like, or whatever, the 2 towers, like in the book 2, you're jumping in the middle and you don't have all the context for what's going on. So that's a huge barrier for viewers. But like, the more context we can give as casters and streamers and just people that are talking about the game, the better experience it is for the viewer.
Yeah, I realistically, I think a lot of these things, like the ideas are there. It's all just cost prohibitive right now. Like we just need a little bit more money flow going into our format, regardless of how that happens. I don't think it'll be like Wizards, but like tournaments need to be able to fundraise with sponsors more than we are currently able to do. And the way that happens is with more and more viewership, right? Like if these streams start getting more and more viewership, then these sponsors are more and more interested. And so if we are able to make it so that these like big major tournaments do have these sponsors and are able to fly out a stream team and supply the stream team with the tech that we would need to be able to do it, then like I think it's the like the world is our oyster essentially.
There's a lot that goes on with these streams that isn't just having the tech as well.
Mhm.
You have to have the technical expertise to set it up and maintain it. It is not easy. And that is coming from someone who does this for the entire channel. And not to like toot my own horn or anything, but like the technology stuff is tough. It's a lot. And like trying to teach it to somebody else or trying to teach it to another team is not the easiest thing in the world.
Yeah, I mean, coming from someone that's on the receiving end of those teachings, it's not easy, right? Like we can get through it, right? Like, and there's a lot of just like notes on a notepad or in my phone.
Or you're calling me and you're like,
Or,
hey,
yeah,
how does
yeah,
this work again?
Being like, hey, I need you to double check this for me, but like it is very difficult to do without the technical knowledge, right?
Yeah, and
we're on the third week in a row of me messaging the group chat of like, hey guys, I fucked up my video again. I need to fix that.
and then you know, having to make changes on the fly and like if equipment breaks or you have to have a backup or you have to have something else to take its place, and there's just all different kinds of things that happen that like these are real production challenges that happen on TV sets, on news shows, or on like, you know, the nightly news and all that stuff. Like you don't know how much equipment is behind that. Like if you watch your nightly news or whatever, I don't know if you've ever been to like a news broadcasting station, but there's so much behind the camera to make one shot work. It's just incomprehensible for the average person. And that's just like a local news channel. That's not even like, you know, your favorite TV show like Game of Thrones or, you know, the latest Spider-Man movie or whatever. There's just so many different things that go into it.
Yeah. I will say I do think that like on the positive note, like it is on the uptick, right? Like the quality of streams for our format has like just grown exponentially in the last like 6 or 7 months realistically. Like
and dude, it's coming from
really
Denver.
It really is. Like I really do like the fact that like Pigeon and Hire are trying to be looking professional and in suits, and like that it only helps like the perception of our format realistically, and I think that's a good thing.
Commentators are extremely important. Like I think having them, like I said, just kind of help with the flow of the game and fill in the gaps, because there's so many times there's like a pause for 30 seconds or there's a judge call and, you know, chat's like, well, why are they getting up from the table and all these different things, and having that, like either the color commentator or the technical knowledge or both, it's just so important to this game. And like it can get stale watching a cEDH game where it's just like heuristic triggers back and forth and people don't really understand the context of what's happening. Like you said, where the leader is changing, but like you don't really see that, and there's no one's holding up a flag saying like I'm the leader.
Yeah.
Right.
And actually everyone's trying to put that flag as far
Everyone's
down
like,
into a hole
no.
as possible.
You don't understand. I'm not doing anything. I promise.
You're like, well, no. I only have like 20 mana and like 20 cards in hand. It's fine. They have a voice victory on the stack.
I think streaming is going to have an incredibly important role, and also just media in general. Like I think that we and other channels like us, like MTG Basics, and these other channels that do tournament coverage, like Comedian, covering these tournaments and showing what the experience is like at these tournaments, keep the scene going. And it's weird for us to like be part of that space now, and like people look to us to like, how was Breach to Bay? It was fantastic. It was incredible. It was an experience that I want other people to have. And like the fact that I can take some content out of that, whether it's photos or video or just like, I have this clip of me in the hotel room waking up at like 5:30 and I'm just talking to the camera going, oh my God, I'm so tired. Like I'm just waking up. This is what it's like to be a tournament grinder. I have to be up at 5:30 for an event that starts at 8. Like I don't want to do this. But we all do it for the love of the game, right? But like if those experiences aren't shared, then people don't care. Like I want people to care about these things.
I also think like speaking like to a viewer of these streams, like what do you guys want out of it realistically? Because like us, Basics, anyone that's done streaming for these events, like we all want active feedback about like what is good and what is bad about every situation that you're watching.
Yeah, there were There was a game. It was fucking awesome. He joined. It was one of his first league games, and he's front carrying his baby. So he's got the like baby,
Yeah, the baby
sling.
Bjorn or whatever
Yeah, the
the
baby
thing.
Bjorns. And so he's like, got his hand in on camera with his baby on camera. But he's telling us the story about how he like got into cEDH from watching Play to Win, and then he
Mhm.
like went and actually started playing games, and he's like, wow, so much of and this is no discredit to the Play to Win guys, we love them, their content's fantastic, but the so much of the texture and the politicking and the talking and all of that stuff doesn't happen in those videos. And so he joined our Discord and he's like, I found my sweaty people. Like I have found my group where I can do what I want to be doing. And so just the more that people have exposure to how the games really play out and build their skill set in that way is awesome.
Yeah, agreed.
One thing that's concerning to me, and I don't really know what to do about it, and this is not going to be super interesting for a lot of people, but we post gameplay and people are like, damn, politics are so cringe. Or like they start watching streams and they're like, I don't understand why they're talking so much. Just play your cards. It's like we're playing a competitive social format. That is why we play the game, because we have the ability to do that. And sometimes, yeah, we're just jamming. Sometimes there's nothing to talk about. I'm putting a win on the stack, right? But other times, especially in those tougher games in the top 16, top 4, yeah, we're yapping our heads off. And like, if you don't like it, that's fine. But maybe you should try to like learn why we're doing that. And like, I think that's some of the most interesting things about our format. I love hearing those conversations because I'm like,
Yeah.
damn, I didn't ever think to like take that angle when I'm talking to someone about something.
Which
Dude,
Or
I will say,
I'd really never say that. Like, I can't believe he said that. I would never say that.
I
there
will
was
also say, I think that like a lot of the gameplay channels have gotten a little bit better at just like throwing in the tidbits of like politics that are like game altering politics. I think Play to
yep.
Win has like made an act like a conscious effort in doing that lately. And
Mhm.
I think it's like showing a little bit better.
You know who I noticed did it first? It was Wizards and Warlocks.
Hmm.
Oh, they make
They
great content.
Yeah, but from the beginning, they've always done that. They took a lot of key notes from Play to Win, and not to say that they copied their style, but they mimicked their style in a way that they were able to make their own. And part of them making it their own was including these like the reason we're politicking this way is, and like they will just like cut and show up on screen and say like, oh, we made a like interesting deal. They don't say a whole lot about it, but they're saying like, this is why we're doing this, or this is why this person's talking like this. And like Play to Win used to do that when they would like make a mistake or like, oh, we did this with an editing issue or something like that. That's fine. But the fact that we're having these discussions about politics now in recorded content games, I think
Yep.
is good.
Yeah,
Like
I agree.
that's where we need to be.
I finished a game I was playing with Church last night that he won, and someone else before him had put a breach on the stack and like jammed at a super weird time. That's not important. The important part was Church very specifically kept saying, I don't have anything for a breach on the stack. And he kept saying it over and over. And I realized after the game when I fucking cast a pact and die that
He had a
he
Besaju in his hand.
had a chain and the other guy was tapped out. So he just chains the breach in response to the first cast. And I'm like, he
Yeah.
was telling me the whole time not to do anything.
Yep.
And I just didn't see it.
Did he
And
win?
it's Church did win. Yeah.
My boy, my goat.
Yeah. Dude, but it's the tiny stuff. It's one word in a sentence, right? That changes the entire way that the game unfolds.
But I think if we can relate those things that players are saying, like especially if you're a caster like Pigeon or higher, you can relate those things like, oh, actually, this is what he's saying, but I think this is really what he means.
Yep.
That is like the key part of cEDH streaming.
Yep. I agree with that.
Yeah.
So yeah. Otherwise, hey, I want to cast or produce at least 2 events this year. I don't know if that's going to happen. We did 1 last year. We did 2 last year. We did
Land Go,
Open, and also Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
And
Which
I think
Eric is doing Siege.
we're
commentary.
so we're teaming up with MTG Basics
Yeah,
to do technical aspects, and also we're providing Eric.
dude. I'm not gonna lie, because I think the stream team is gonna be higher in Eric in that for that event, and like I don't know if I've ever been more excited for a stream team.
I'm very excited. Those guys, like, I played the straight man when I was with Eric at Lango, right? Like, I was the technical guy. Eric was the
you
color,
have to
right?
be.
But they're both color. Like, they're both color commentators. So I don't know if we need like a straight guy, like, well, not straight, but you know what I mean? Like two technical people are boring. Two color is going to be very interesting.
It's going to be entertaining, to say the least.
Yeah. So anyway, we're looking forward to those things. Hopefully we can get more into streaming. I know that it's like weird. It's like not really a direct thing that like provides to the community. It does in a sense, but like it makes content's good, but I don't know. I don't find myself going back and like watching Lane Go necessarily. So like it's kind of,
I do when I'm learning a deck. If I know that there's a stream coverage of someone who performed really well on the deck, I'll go back and watch the coverage of that game
Oh,
and like see if I
interesting.
can pick anything up from what they did.
I mean, that's like a good idea of like, we kind of talk about this, like the possibility of like a learn cEDH website with like the ideas of the decks and how to play them and like what you should be scared of or you should be doing on them.
Mhm.
And like it would be kind of cool to like link to certain videos and tournaments to be like, all right, like specifically watch this player and like what they're doing in this game, because like this is a masterclass in that deck.
Just a Giga
Kinda
primer
cool.
for all the things.
Yeah. Anyway, if you guys have thoughts about cEDH streaming and content creation in general or anything like that, or if there's events that you're like, hey, you should really cover this event, yeah, let us know. I think we're pretty much shooting for, gosh, there's so many event names. The Quest, that's the event in Portland, and we're trying to help out with that and trying to make a stream happen there. We're also working on, like we said, the Siege and looking for that to happen. Hopefully there's other opportunities this year as well for those things.
Mhm.
All right. Anything else? I think that about wraps us up for this week.
No, I don't think
That's all
so.
I got.
Dude,
Yeah.
this is a short episode. People are gonna
Short
get mad.
episode. We're at 2 hours.
No, dude, people are gonna get mad. I'm telling you.
Well,
We're not fulfilling their drive.
hey, if they unban some more things, we'd have some more shit to
Dude,
talk about.
actually true. From behind the curtain, we were gonna plan on doing like a video about the unbans, and we're like, let's just talk about it in tabs.
It wasn't like we were planning a video. I was just like, hey, are we ready to like emergency record if we need to? Everyone's like, yes, I'm in. I'm like, okay. And then everyone's like, oh, this is not worth it. Jordan, you've got a couple videos coming out or that you're working on, right? You've got the Thrasios with Max, and what else?
Rogthras Deck Tech. And that's going to come out with, Fafnar has written a 10,000 word article about Rogthras that covers like 600 potential cards that are in like every variant of the deck. So I'm going to try and time that so that they come out at similar times for people to pick that deck up.
That's so many cards.
That is a lot of cards.
Because he covers the Teamer Problems one, the Graveyard, like Sam Black one, just Simic stuff. Like he covers the whole thing. It's really, really interesting.
Wow. Austin, I think you said you were maybe working on Helga?
Yeah, well, me and Jordan are gonna go through how to actually do some of the technical recording stuff, and
sure.
I think that's planning on tomorrow, and then at some point I'll start doing some deck tech stuff and talk about some of the decks that I'm excited about. Mainly right now I'm playing Helga and Chowder.
Cool.
Those are the two ones that I'd probably be making.
And I'm working on Maelstrom Water, so that should be fun.
Yes.
Nice, I also, low-key, I kind of want to like talk about this partner event that is happening, and
we should pick like 10 decks that we think are interesting and talk about.
Yeah. Like I think like, hey, these are like some terrifying combinations that we could do. And just kind of exploring some of those ideas. Jason's folder is, as of this morning, 23 decks made.
You know what I thought about? Urza Zerda.
That's nasty. Okay, yeah.
Because you just play all the most heinous stacks in the world, and you literally just play all the artifacts. Like it doesn't care.
Yeah. I don't know.
You have an outlet for Zerda and Zone. Like I don't know.
I've like really delve deep into this idea of like Krark Kinnan, because it can just like win with every spell known to man. Like it just wins off
Kirk
of
can do that anyway.
yeah,
Kirk
but like
can do that
with
anyway.
Kinnan, like with Kinnan, it like it's even crazier because like Strike It Rich just like does it,
Yeah,
and you have the outlet in the zone. You know, like
sure, but you still
it's
need
just
doublers, and the
crazy.
doublers are bad in that.
For sure.
In that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I sent Jordan a list of Kefka-Felia, and I know that you guys will hate that deck, but I think it's funny, and I think I might play it.
It is the Kefka plan incarnate.
Which we have accepted is bad, but what if it's just like
what? Wait, what if we did Rograk Necrobloom Oops All spells?
I don't hate that. No, I was actually well, you wouldn't want to do Rograk Necrobloom. You'd want to do Rograk and like a 5-color
Master of Keys.
commander. Realistically, you'd want to do Rograk Maelstrom or Wandering Minstrel.
Yeah,
because you want Narcomoeba in the deck. Like Narcomoeba needs to be in the deck, essentially.
sure. Well, I mean, there's the Jundoops that doesn't run it.
Yeah, but the fact that Narcomoeba isn't in that deck, it causes a lot of problems. It gives you a lot more interaction points because like someone can just like get rid of one of your creatures, mainly because Poxwalkers comes into play tapped, which is dumb. Yeah, because
Anyway.
like you. Okay, I'm gonna get into Oops for a quick second here.
All right,
in the Jund version of Oops, like you mill your whole library out, and then you like Cabal Therapy, whatever, and you get a Gravecrawler and a Poxwalker, right? But then most of the time you've like sacrificed Rograk to get your Spy into play. If you haven't, then you're like okay. If not, then you just have a Gravecrawler out and you have a token from the Bridge from Below, right? In this spot, if someone removes one of those creatures, then you cannot win anymore.
Because
Okay.
you need 3.
Because you need 3, or you need 2 untapped, because then you can cast Hogak.
Sure.
But if someone removes one of those creatures, then you're fucked. Like, you actually can't win the game.
Yep.
So, if you get a Narcomoeba, it opens up, like, it speeds up the deck by, like, a whole turn, which is crazy.
Interesting.
Yeah. I like Hoops. I think it's a cool deck.
I have no idea what I'm going to play for this yet. I still need to.
What's the prize?
I don't even know. I think it's a 1K.
Yeah, and it's a gold still. I think
It's a
counts
charity
for
event,
points.
so like
Yeah.
we probably should play in it.
Yeah.
Alrighty, I think that's all from us for this episode. Look forward to more content coming out, and thank you all for 10,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
Enter in the giveaway. We want to give out free shit, and go to all these events. Keep playing
Cool.
CEDH.
If you
Right,
guys see
catch
us
you
in a tournament, come say hi.